Check, check, check. All right, we're in pre-show. Jeff, would you rather me send you back just my video, or do you mind seeing this split shot?
Split shot's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. So testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we've got anybody in chat. Is there anybody in chat? Do you have the? Do you want to pop up the chat on a? You probably have at least one PC there in your studio.
Yeah, well, I'm using it right now. The one you sent me.
Oh, okay. Well, fire up a browser on something else and go to easternshorebroadcasting.com/TomS-chat. And you will see just the chat. Ted, the spell check is working. The spell check is working just fine. Thank you very much. Tess is here. John is here. Ken is here. Ken's got cameras coming. Kyle is here. Kyle doesn't need cameras. He wins everything PTZ Optics sends. Rudy is here from Belgium.
He's the one that wins all the he wins all the free deals with that.
Kyle is the one. Yep. Frank Bees is here. Tommy Willis is here from Tallahassee, Alabama, right up the road. Rod is here from the UK. Anderson from Barbados. Nick and Dave and Giles. Giles is in the UK. Dave and Jim Moline. Jim Moline's in South Carolina. Steve, Texas Mike. I wonder where Texas Mike is from. Martin S. and Martin K., both from the UK. In fact, Martin K. is flying over to come to NAB. Have you ever met Martin? Brilliant.
I think so.
Brilliant guy. Works with Magewell and does a lot of NDI stuff and has been my lifesaver. Yeah. Yeah. And Rick is here, and John, and Cruxworks. Okay, we're getting there. Kyle said he has not won any cameras yet. Well, Kyle, if you're at NAB, you want to come to the Streaming Idiots meetup on Tuesday night, because we'll be giving away a camera. In fact, it's supposed to be delivered here tomorrow, and I'm going to cart it out there with me. I don't know how I'm going to get it there, but I will somehow. It'll be my carry-on.
Backpack.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I've got a Magewell dongle, and I got a Yuan dongle, and we got the camera, and we have an X keys, and some vMix licenses, and some virtual sets, and there's all sorts of stuff we're going to give away. Are you going to be free Tuesday night? Why don't you come?
Yeah, I think I RSVP'd on the Facebook.
Okay, good deal. It'll be a good crowd, and you know it's kind of like it'll be all our people. Let me fix my chroma key here, and then we'll get going. Oh, I thought I saw a little noise there, but it disappeared. Okay. All right. You guys know Jeff. Jeff has been around since the beginning of live streaming time.
Before the beginning of time.
Before it was cool to live stream, Jeff was there. Yes. And Kyle says the 10th is his birthday. Oh my goodness. And John is on the 14th. Well, that's not going to get you. Daniel won the PTZ camera. Okay, there you go. Very good. All right. Well, Jeff, here's the deal. We'll start the show officially, the jaws of death kind of thing, and I'll do my monologue and make my announcements, and then I'll bring you on, and we'll just talk.
All right.
And we'll just see where Jeff's audio is low. Thank you, Jim. Let me pump him up just a little bit here. Okay. Jeff's one of those.
Is that better?
Oh boy, that'll blow him out. Jeff's one of those guys. You can tell he's got a little bit of a radio influence because he's got that mic right there. Yep.
Been using it for how many years now? 8.
What kind of mic is it?
The Heil 40.
The Heil PR40. Gotcha. All right. Well, I am going to mute you for a sec, and we'll get this show on the road. Let's see. We have a button for that. Oh, what? Is this thing on? Are we ready to go? All right, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. I am so glad you're here today. If you're watching us live, would encourage you to come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and get in on the chat. Yeah, that's right. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and then click the Watch Live tab at the top of the website. And that'll bring you into this very same feed, and it will bring you into the chat. And there are a bunch of folks in chat. They're having a big old time. But I can tell just looking at the stats that there are a bunch of folks that are watching us on YouTube separately, or they are watching us on Facebook separately. Ted says my hair is parted on the wrong side. Am I doing opposite day? No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you for noticing, though. I'm really excited about the guest we have here today. Jeff Adams is coming to us live from Florida, and Jeff will be doing a whole. Oh, am I a little hot? I'm a little hot. Sorry about that. Let me back up. Let me back up just a little bit. There we go. I'm just excited. That's part of it. I'm just so excited. Jeff is going to be out at NAB. He's doing well. We'll get into that in just a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just so stoked about all the cool things that are going on in the world of live streaming. You remember that show we did, I guess it was about 3 months ago, on the golden age of live streaming? We are indeed in the golden age. And my guest today is one of those people that it's going to go down as somebody that was around in the golden age time and making a lot of influence here and there. But before we get to that, I do want to I want to remind you that this show is a giant infomercial. Hopefully a lot of info and just a little bit of commercial. But let's do the commercial and get that out of the way right off the bat. The show is sponsored by Eastern Shore Broadcasting, my company here in Fairhope, Alabama. We design and build PCs for streaming. We represent vMix, PTZ Optics, X Keys, Magewell, Uon, and we're looking at a couple other brands to bring on. We don't represent a super full line because we want to be intimately acquainted with all of those. So if you need help getting started, either with products or expertise in your live stream, give us a ring. Shoot us a message. Join our Facebook group, Streaming Idiots. It's right there on Facebook. You got to join. You got to sign up, but we promise we won't spam you. And it's a great way to get in on the streaming conversation pretty much 24/7. We've got a almost 2,000 members. About half of those are in the U.S. and half are spread out through the rest of the world. So there's a conversation going on pretty much 24/7. We'd love to have you come be a part of that group. That group, or at least some of that group, is having a meetup April 10th in Las Vegas during NAB. That's a Tuesday night. We'll be meeting at Scott Whitney's Podwork Studios. It's a live streaming studio right there in Las Vegas. He's got 3 sets in his studio, and we'll be doing a live stream, of course, from that. Dave Edwards and Kenny Hampton and Chuck Braverman will be some of the hosts. There's a set there, what they call the Ellen set, kind of a talk show set where we'll be doing that. We'll be giving away prizes. We've got a PTZ Optics camera to give away. We've got a Magewell USB dongle. We've got an X Keys. We've got a vMix license. We've got all sorts of goodies, trinkets swag that everybody gets. We'll be giving away vMix T-shirts and the Yawn. Is it Yawn or Uon? Anyway, whatever it is, we have a USB dongle from them that's really cool that we'll be giving away too. So. If you're planning on being to NAB, figure out Tuesday night is the night. You can get details on our website at easternshorebroadcasting.com or at the Streaming Idiots Facebook page. If you're a member of that, there's actually an event there. You can RSVP to the event. And we'll have all sorts of refreshments and this amazing dessert concoction I was just informed of today. So that's going to be really fun. If you're a dessert fan, you'll want to be there for the double whammy, live streaming and dessert. I mean, can it get any better than that? Well, the only way it could get better is if you have a terrific guest to have on your show. And I have on my show today a super terrific guest, Mr. Jeff Adams from TJAS Media, which is the Jeff Adams Show. if you didn't already know. Jeff, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Man, I thought you were going to do that trick where you go, and I'm like, oh, crap, I screwed up the audio again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. That's even worse. So, congratulations. You are heading out to NAB. Broadcast Beat has got you doing some things. NAB has got you doing some things. Tell us what you're going to be doing out at NAB other than going to the Streaming Idiots meetup on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock
That's
on
right.
April 10th.
I'll be there for sure.
All right.
I'm gonna get that camera.
Ah, there we go.
I'm
No,
gonna
what?
get it. If I don't get it, if I don't get the camera, I know it's fixed, Tom. I know it's all fixed.
Well, hold it. If you do get the camera,
just
we'll
kidding.
know it's fixed.
What if I do? And then you go, what?
Yeah,
How does
that's
that work,
right.
anyways? How does one win the camera, anyways? How does that work?
Well, if you have a business card, you can drop it in the hat. If you don't, there'll be a little slip there that you can write your name on and drop in the hat. We
How
actually
many
have
times do you put your name in the hat?
as many times as you have a name. So once.
All right.
But no,
once.
we've got some Las Vegas showgirls that'll be greeting everybody at the front door, and they'll make sure that you get signed in and get a name tag and know where everything is. So we want you to feel welcome in the Las Vegas kind of way. So it's going to be a fun party. But tell us what else you're doing that week. You've got some cool gigs going on.
Yeah, I've got part of the NAB Live team. Not as much. I say that knock on wood, but I'm doing 3 panel discussions, and the years before I was just part of the NAB Live team where I did obviously discussions.
Right.
This year's mine's condensed down a little bit smaller, so I don't know if I'm gonna be more on the floor. I think Sunday night I'm doing something live with a Live View backpack, messing with people at a hotel or something when they
Cool.
do the introduction to kind of get NAB Live.
Right.
But I'm doing 3 panels. Doing one that you're on the Saturday.
Saturday,
kind of
right.
pre-NAB stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
live
going to
stream
be fun.
And then Tuesday, I'm doing a Facebook Live discussion. Have people discussing Facebook Live. It's been a big, heavy topic because a lot of people have been using Facebook Live trying to figure out the algorithms and how everything works, and with pages and all these little secret things that people do. We're going to be discussing that. And then Wednesday, I'm really excited about this one. I have a pretty all-star lineup. I'm talking about OTT platforms, and I have the CEO of Wowzer. I have the CEO from Float Left, and a couple other people, JW Player, CEO. So that's going to be a really interesting topic as well, because I love OTT as much as live streaming now, because I do a lot of consulting with that. So I'm very excited about that talk. And then I'm doing something with Wowzer during the week, doing a couple things with them at their booth. And then I'm doing, obviously, the live streaming show I do a stream spot called Wired. We're going to be shooting some things out there as well. So going to stay pretty busy out there.
Holy cow, you're working, man. You're not going to have a chance to roam around and see all the cool toys.
I always find time. I normally find time. But I'm pretty sure I'll be, with NAB Live, I'll probably be roaming with the camera crew as well. So that's probably how I'll be able to see everything I need to see.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you got to come by the VMEX booth. That's where I'll be. We're right.
I definitely will.
We're right next to New Tech again this year. So there's a little.
Is that part of the Facebook Live little thing, or no? Is it separate?
That is separate. The Facebook Live thing, I
Okay,
think,
gotcha.
is up in the front of the hall, and we are midway back on the first level.
Okay, so you guys right across from New Tech.
Right next to
Good
New
deal.
Tech. Yep. It's good too. Around the corner from
good
Telestream,
people
so
over there
it's
at New Tech.
all the kind of. Man, we're loving it. We're loving it. The NDI is just killer. We
It
can't
really
wait
is.
for everybody to get on board.
It's a game changer for sure. I use it all the time.
Every show, we're using it right now. We're using it
Yes,
right now.
I tell you, I test a lot of things for people a lot, and I was gonna hook up a phone, but I don't know if I want to. I've moved things around, and it's like this is literally a mad scientist room right now. If like these engineers that watch the show, they go, "That's just not acceptable," and it's not.
Right.
When I get back from NAB, I'm getting underneath here and I'm cleaning everything up,
Cable
wires, and
management.
rewiring everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I have
Yep.
too much going on, and I have to like format things for certain people's requests when I like produce shows for people and things like that, and different shows I'm contracted to host. So it's just different form. People want different things. I
Yep.
just can't use, and I have the ability in the studio where I use vMix or the TriCaster or Wirecast, preferably what they want to use, and or use it all at the same time. So just a lot going on in here, and the audio cable mess. I can't wait to get into the NDI audio, because I've got a lot of old radio stuff.
One cable.
One cable. That's it. I know, but then I have to like reformat because I send streams out to radio too. I do something for radio, so I have to keep this in line and then run it there. When I bought this computer from you, I bought a PC from you. I think it was like last year.
Yep.
We were trying to figure it out with the radio board, the mix and minus, because I only had one mix and minus out on this board.
Right.
So the callers, if someone called in and I had a video call in, they would all be able to hear each other. You know? So that's been a little challenge, but I figured it out, and that's working now. So it's always an experiment in here, but I love it. I mean, it's why I got into it. As long as I did, I started just figuring stuff on my own, and that's the only way you really learn things is when you just get your hands dirty.
Well, I mean, to learn it, you got to break it and then figure out how to fix it, or you haven't really learned it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's stuff in here like I've been really, most people don't understand it because most streamers like, well, why would I was sent a Wowzer Clearcaster from them, and I've been really testing it out and enjoying it and just pushing the limits of what you can do with it, and then figuring out things too. I mean, obviously, with vMix you can bring up the lower, Facebook comments, YouTube comments. So I've been integrating a lot of NDI into the Wowzer rack mount with the comments and everything, taking a stream key and putting them in there. But the cool thing about that, what I really enjoy about the Wowzer is a new skill set. Because normally when I used to do live stream shows, it was very radio-like. I was interviewing somebody. Right. We would do it, remotely. And but I've learned when I have a contract job with BeLive.tv, and it was just me and an audience, and I've learned this skill set just to talk to the chat nonstop, and so it gets scary. It's like, oh my gosh, is this gonna work? But I've been doing this new show with them called Live Positive on Thursdays, and it's pretty much just me in the chat, and I send a guest link if someone wants to pop in and say something, contribute to the show. But I go through talking points, so and that ranges like on Facebook like close to 5,000 to 6,000 views when it's all said and done. But the chat, it's like I'm sitting there, because in BeLive it's a desktop portal that you produce shows. So you click the chat, it pops up on the screen. So I'm always just popping up the screen and trying to get to my points. So I really learned a new skill set doing this, which I really enjoy now. But back to my point about that, I went on a rabbit trail. The Clearcaster gives you pretty much a camera angle out where it's like a monitor, but within the monitor, the chat is just popping up right in front of the monitor. So the talent can look right at the monitor and see the chat just pop up on the monitor, which is great because I can look directly at the camera now and just go, hey, what's going on? Hey, Joe, yeah, that's great, da-da-da. And I'm having a conversation. It's more personal now. With BeLive, I was like looking down at my desktop like this and trying to get my camera angled where it looks like I'm looking. But now with the Clearcaster, I have the ability to do that. And the cool thing with some of the shows I produce too, because a lot of people are like, hey, I want my bass on Facebook Live. So now I can send them a direct feed of the monitor out on the Clearcaster into a vMix call or whatever you're using, and they can see the Facebook chat and themselves. And when I'm switching the camera angles, they can still see the Facebook chat happening. It's really, really
cool. Cool.
So fun stuff.
The future. So
no, it's already here.
Well, that's right. Well, all right. For those of us like me that don't have a clue what you're talking about, tell us about what this Wowzer Clearcaster is. It's a rack mount PC that does.
If you give me a clear angle, I can run a commercial on it real quick, and you can see it.
All right.
So let's see it real quick. right, here we go. Oh, wrong one. Hang on.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So there you go.
I want
mean,
one. How do I get one?
Yeah,
How much is it?
it's
Is it shipping?
it is shipping. Yes, it's been out for like a year.
Oh.
And I've been doing stuff with them and experimenting in the technology. You know, because everybody knows about Wowzer at this point. They just didn't know they're getting into hardware now,
Right.
for streaming. But everybody, come on, Wowzer powers a lot of back end for people, and it's just a really fascinating company. So I've gotten kind of cahoots with them over the last several months, and they sent me this.
Cahoots, I love it.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed it. I've talked to a lot of key people there, and then like at NAB, I'm interviewing like the CTO, and we're talking about a lot of the new back end, which I've got to do homework. I'm gonna be sitting on the plane reading this because I'm not scared of any of the panel discussion I'm doing, but this one, you got to
Right.
know your stuff on this one because it's very thorough. But they're creating a new alternative to WebRTC, which I'm studying. I'm studying their back end, how it works now. So
Yeah.
I've got to be really educated, or I'm going to look like a complete rabbit in headlights when I'm doing the interview. But I'm really excited, and that's the cool thing about Wowzer. Wowzer's getting into like really physical hardware. They did an update today that's pretty amazing. I haven't had a chance to test it out, but it's not out officially. But they want me to run some tests on it. So I just love doing that. I know, Tom, you do. You just love pushing the boundaries of where you can do things, and a lot of us live streamers just love that. That's why there's a community, and most shows that do well on streaming is live stream shows about live stream shows because everybody likes watching them. And
Yeah.
that's that's the whole thing. I watch a lot of people doing live stream shows about live stream shows because I always love hearing new things, because you know what, I don't ever stick a flag in the sand. Hey, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert at all. I'm pretty much, I call myself an internet streaming specialist, because you're always learning stuff. You're always learning stuff every single day, and with this, you could have all the best gear in the world. Within seconds, you're gonna look like a complete idiot, a streaming idiot. That's where you got the name of the show, and within minutes, it could all crumble in front of your face, and you're like, "What happened?"
Well, see, Jeff, that's the key. Keep the
Yeah.
expectations really low,
Right.
and it's easy to exceed them, and nobody's disappointed when all you do is meet the expectations.
Yeah, I used to get so stressed out when I would do. I was Steven, Steven with the Tech Buzz. When we do the broadcast now back in the day,
I
where
remember
would
that.
do the Jeff Adams show, and he would produce the show for me. I used to get so stressed out if things didn't go the way they should. But I think I got a pretty quick lesson. I think one time I was doing a show with him. I think it was back in 2011 or 12. And we were doing a broadcast. He's bringing me a Skype call, producing the show, and my whole I lost 3 computers with a lightning strike during the broadcast. So after that
Wow.
moment, I was like, all right. And we had all kinds of things happen, and it just happens. I mean, it even happens at NAB Live. I saw some of the stuff that happens with these guys. They've got, a crew of 6. They all have different things that they're doing. And there's one guy switching the camera, and they can't even get it right. And that's when I do those things. I really, because Tom, tell me if you have this problem when you're doing like someone else's show, or you're doing NAB events and you're not really, there's nothing in front of you. You're just kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of like talking. I still feel naked because I'm not doing what I normally do, like doing all these
Yes.
things
Yes.
to make it happen. It's kind of like
Yes.
I always tell I tell people it's kind of like, you have an amazing guitarist, and immediately they said, hey, we've got a great guitarist in the band already. You need to put the guitar down and just sing. And he's there and he feels awkward because he's not touching things and switching things, because I see things in the monitor. I go, oh, let me just switch that, fix that real quick in my head, and I can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's very frustrating when that happens. But I'm used to doing so much, and when I have the ability to, dumb it down, I don't know. I feel like I'm out of my element sometimes when I do that.
Well, you like to be in control. I mean,
Exactly.
that's what it is. You want to call the
Exactly.
shots.
I like to drive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to drive the train. No, I was guesting on RJ Murdoch's. No, we were doing a Streaming Idiots from RJ Murdoch's studio in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. You know Fort Walton
Yeah.
Beach and Destin area.
Yep.
And most beautiful beaches. And somehow he ended up giving me a keyboard. He was switching the show, but he gave me a keyboard, and I wouldn't like his shot, and I'd change it. Oh, golly, that was embarrassing. My true nature popped out. I'm a control freak.
And we've created a movement of people. I don't do it anymore. I just don't. It's like, because when you do this so much, it's like people that don't, they want to be a producer in the chat. You ever seen the people that want to be producers in the chat? And sometimes it's helpful.
No,
if you
not
have
in my
audio.
chat. Not in this chat.
You have like audio problems or whatever. It's good that you know that, because you may not be able to hear that, or hey, there's something going on. It's always good to have those. But I've noticed on certain shows I do, that's like, I think last week I kind of just went off. It's like, oh, Vay, I said, everyone wants to be a producer now. Everybody line up. Producers now. Because I mean, that's good. It's good that people point things out, but then, when you're doing it all and you're trying to host a show at the same time, it just, it'll throw you in a tailspin when you have, technical problems or something that nature. You're trying to get your message across, and you're playing engineer, producer, and host.
But how many years have you been doing live shows? I mean, you're probably in the 7-8 year range, aren't you?
Yeah, it's probably, I would say 10. I started
10.
doing shows 10. Yeah, and not on the the streaming side, but there was a lot of there was a thing called Blog TV that was
Sure.
I
remember
way
that.
before Blab. They had 2 co-hosts. I'd do shows on there. That was back in 2007. I was doing
Right.
that, and then there was and then I started screwing around with Mogulus and Ustream.
Yep,
and
I remember
doing shows
Mogulus.
on Ustream and
Live stream, yeah.
I wasn't proud of anything I was doing back then, because I was a creative outlet. I was figuring it out, using Manicam and doing all this stupid stuff. It's like, everybody's been there at one point or another. But
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a while, and then I got in a groove doing the Jeff Adams show. Which I haven't been doing consistently because I've been doing so many other things. I did one like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, I've been doing that for like 6 years. Jeff Adams show is like my creative outlet that I do, and I just enjoy doing it when I can.
I love your set. I love your set.
Yeah,
I know you've moved it from place to place, but it still has the same look, and that's the important part.
Yeah, these are panels that were built for me. So they moved everywhere with me, but now I have, I think, let's see, go here. Wrong one. Here we go. Yeah, so I have wood panels. Let me get in the shot here. Got me framed in a different shot, but I have wood panels like in here now that were custom built for other things, and then I have everything's a mess in here. But then here's a guest shot, and then I have in the other room over there. You can't really see it, but I do sets out there. I have a bunch of pictures and a white wall back there with red carpet and things like that. But I just do a lot of different things. And but this, where I'm sitting right now, is kind of like my main hub where I produce and host a lot of shows, because it's just easier because everything's in front of me.
Gotcha. Well, it's kind of neat to have a studio right there within walking distance of your home.
It is, but you know what? I think.
But you find yourself in there at 1 o'clock in the morning, don't you?
No, I have to separate myself or I go
Okay,
mad.
good for you.
Because I'm not saying this like in a bragging way, but I have
Oh,
been
just say
really,
it.
really busy. No, I have been really busy, and it's not. I'm not saying that. I have to learn to separate, and unplug because it's so easy to walk in here and disconnect from everything else,
Yep.
and just I can't because
Two
I would
hours
have
have
no
gone by and
relationships
you
in my
didn't
life.
even know it. Yeah.
Right. I do miss having a commercial spot sometimes. I really do. Just for the fact you shut it down, you go home, you can appreciate your home. But I'm in
Right.
here. I'm at my home 24/7, and most people get to go out to work, a lot. But I'm here, and by the time it's 5 o'clock, I'm dying to get out of the house, and that can get expensive. Let's just go get something to eat. Let's just go get
Right.
something to eat.
Right.
So
Right.
it
I
has
get
its
it.
advantages, but as of late, it's been really bothering me. So I plan things. I go out for walks. If I'm not doing anything, and I just leave everything on and come back and do it, the show that I got to do, and I shut everything off. And it's hard. It's really hard to unplug, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. And the planning with NAB this year has been very overwhelming. And then scheduling things, I had to push things this week. Wowzer wanted to record something with me this week, and I said, "Why don't we just do it at NAB?" And they said, "Oh, that's it. Let's do it." So we're doing that at NAB now, but we were supposed to do it tomorrow, and I have 3 other shows I do on Thursday, and they wanted to record that. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do it." I was like stressing out and then making sure everybody's getting their NAB information, and I got to send invoices out for the month of all my 1099 clients that I have. It's just I'm very blessed that I set out on a journey. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. I decided to do this, and I jumped into it, not knowing, leaving a very cushioned job I had in the music industry for many, many years, and I just jumped and went in this direction. People go, "You're out of your mind."
You are out of
But
your
I can
mind.
actually say, not to get spiritual, but man, when you jump, God had my back, and I know for a fact that this is where I'm supposed to be, and because it's just amazing. It's like when you have moments, because you do consulting, Tom, you have those moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, it's just not adding up, and then something amazing comes through the door of work you put in, and it's
Yep.
just, and it's not in our strength. It's not. It's just not. It's a spiritual thing. You just go, okay, gotcha.
Yep. I get it. I get it. Well, have you given thought now that you have this great set and the great studio at home? Have you given thought to moving out to a commercial place again?
No, I mean, because it's just, I think for right now, no. I'm doing some consulting work right now that I really, well, I could probably discuss a little bit. I'll just put it to you this way: it's a uh, faith-based social media site that's going to
Ah.
launch. When it launches, it's going to have active, already 3 million people active when it launches in July. But I've been consulting with them, and I'm going to be part of the content team there. Probably,
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to work out a deal now where they want to bring me in full time, but I'm not sure if I want to do. I don't want to leave everything I have on the table.
Yeah.
But we're working on that out right now. But the cool thing about that is it gives me the ability. They have an in-house content creation team. I think a staff of 25 people. So my job,
Wow.
I'll be able to roam freely, and I will be able to sign outside content creators to jump in the portal to be content partners with the platform. So that's all I'm gonna. It's gonna be fun. I get to look for talent and offer them, and pretty much how it works is they're gonna open up love, and there's no algorithms. You're not gonna be blocked. So if you post a video and those people follow what you do, you're not gonna have any blockage of people trying to pay to
Great
see type
timing.
of scenarios.
Great timing. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's really, I've been working on that. I've been working on the OTT thing with the company as well. That's very excited about that. I can't really get into talks about that, but that's been a bulk of my time is like really focusing on that project. But man, when it launches, it's so beautiful. What this platform is going to do, and yeah, I really, and that's the thing when people say, "Hey, we want to bring you in full time to what we're doing." It's a scary thing because you have I'm very thankful because I get to do everything I love. I get to I get to use all my skill sets. Business development, I'm able to do that now. I can be off camera, I can be happy. I'm producing, I can be happy. I'm project managing an OTT job. I'm loving it. I'm loving where I'm at right now in this space, and I don't know if I want to
Great.
change it too much. It's like
Uh-huh.
once you become the entrepreneur, that's inside of a lot of us. Once you excel in it, and that's all you've done all your life, it's like it's kind of hard to go to work for somebody else.
Yep. 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 And it sounds like you like change. You like a variety. You don't like to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody that has been live streaming, and you know, when we first started off, it was like you couldn't wait to get going with it. But now it's like I went through a lot of traumatic events in my life over the last 3 years, and there was times where I did not want to get on and go, but it was a paying client. They paid me to do something. I had to go, and guess what? I had to put on a show, even when I
Right.
didn't feel like it.
Right.
And it's just like and and it's scary for me when because most people are like, hey, you just need to unplug, but you can't when it's your job. It's like you just have to put it on and go, and even when you don't feel like it, you have to perform and go, and then
Right.
when it's done, you can go lay down, lay your head on a pillow and cry. But I that's something that the only thing I don't like about live streaming anymore is the fact that I have to go and I have to just hit it hard for a client and host something. And that's been really pressuring, because I think with my contract with BeLive.tv, I created this whole broadcast scenario for them for marketing.
You're a
where
victim of
I
your own
actually-
success.
Yeah, I created Be Live Weekly for them. I got in contact with them in 2016. We started talking. I said, you have a Facebook Live desktop portal, and you have no one showing how to use it. So I created Be Live Weekly for them, and that went on. But they gave me the name, the show, Chief Happiness Officer there. So they wanted me to be this
No pressure.
high energy person.
Yeah.
Going on. And I told him, I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. It's just where I'm at in my life. I said, I want to hand it off to someone else. And I think Joel.com took it on. And then now just got Owen Video just picked up. He's hosting the show now. So I anchored that show. We did some really cool things with that show, but they said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I kind of want to do a show about, we talk about, marketing with live streaming. I said, but what about someone that's just, what about you, when you're dealing with something? I want to focus on people and things, and have a positive outlook on life. Because I started doing this show called Live Positive. I think we're in the 18th episode now, and the response has been great because there's so many hurting people out there need encouraging or just to get off the couch. I've had people just said, hey, I'm depressed, I'm on the couch, I can't get up, and they're in the chat. And everybody in the chat kind of rises it up and says, get off the couch, man, go outside.
Right.
It's really, really cool. And then I do another show with them that's kind of new. They approached me 3 months ago to say, hey, they have a Facebook community. And, you have the Streaming Idiots. I think you're like 2,000 people in Streaming Idiots now.
About, yeah.
Yeah. So now they have like the Be Livers group, and it's like over 5,000 members, active members. So they approached me like, hey, we got to get these members up and running. So I created the community show within there that's just straight for the Facebook group. I do that every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's been a challenge to figure out how to do just a show for the group where you can't share it out. And it's been a real challenge because
exclusive content. I like that.
Yeah. So it's cool because I get to, get an understanding of it, and really because I'm blessed because a lot of people that use Be Live, they're internet marketers. They're really good at marketing. So I'm learning a lot of cool things of people that I get to interview that I wouldn't know otherwise about, and I'm blessed about that. And then I do every other Monday I do a show for StreamSpot called Wired. It's like a pro live streaming show. We interview people in the industry, and then that's been kind of like we've been having growing pains, but I think we're kind of getting in a groove now how we do it. So that's been a lot of fun. And then obviously I do the Jeff Adams show, and then I've got these clients I really can't discuss that I produce strictly for them. That's kind of a private deal because no one knows I do it because that's just my deal with them. But it's just like radio stuff and live streaming all at the same time. So, but it's been so much fun to continue to do this. But it's also hard because when we first started doing this, there's hardly anybody doing it, and there's so many talented people out there now doing this. It absolutely blows my mind. I see someone's live stream and I go, oh my gosh, that guy's so talented, man. I mean, and you just have a respect, but it's the saturation is real. But it's something we're going to talk about at NAB Live is, live streaming and where it's going, where it's headed. But there's 3 different type of live streamers that I've noticed over the years.
Yeah.
There's people from the marketing standpoint that are using it for social media marketing. And then there's, obviously people trying to do entertainment. And I think entertainment has really gotten lost in live streaming, the art of entertainment, because we're applying the same rules that's working for internet marketers to entertaining. But that's just stuff we're going to discuss on that panel because it's so interesting where live streaming is going, and everybody, puts their flagpole in and go, hey, this is how it works. And that's what I tell everybody. I go, what works for you, it's not going to work for the other guy. You got to find your own groove of what works for you, and where you're comfortable and you want to do it. If you're trying to become someone else and mimic what they're doing, it's not going to fly. There's only one you, so just be you.
That's right. That's good advice. I like it. So that's 2. What was the third? You had
third is
marketers, entertainers, and
the third is the third is very, it's like synagogues and churches. They're really trying to that's just a whole another culture, but they're using the same techniques, the same things, but it's interesting because if you follow a lot of that culture, is they're trying to figure out, not only they're trying to build a community within their physical church, they're trying to build a virtual community, and yet they're using all these other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and I got to abide by the rules, like worship songs, it's just a whole different ball game. But it's fascinating to me because there's so many talented people that are doing. I think I posted in Streaming Idiots. I go, who's streaming church services?
You had 4 dozen responses. Yeah.
So that is a huge market, and they're trying to figure it out too. It's like, what do we do with Facebook Live? How come no one's seen? We have 500,000 page likes on our page, but we're only getting 75 viewers per broadcast. When we stream this thing. So it's interesting. It's just a very interesting time. But we've kind of laid in this bed where we've been, you stream to your own site, you've got control, you push everybody to your website, but that's where it's going back to. I think it's gonna, you're gonna start seeing Facebook and YouTube and these other platforms where you're just kind of using it for like a marketing tease, and really try to push people back to your hub, which again, you roll out, you have your website, and then you get really smooth. You have OTT, you have your iPhone app, your Android app, your Apple TV app, your Roku app, and you're building your own.
And you have complete control. I love it.
Right. Back to driving,
That's right. You're not subject to the whims of Zucker.
I know. It's crazy, the stuff I read.
You change the rules overnight, and all of a sudden, everything you've built just can fade away. That's why you've got to drive people to your own site. You've got to grab their email addresses. Email is still a rock solid way of communicating with people. That's it's not guaranteed to get through, but it's going to be there tomorrow, no matter what else happens. Yep.
Let me ask you this real quick. From your experience, are you still doing a lot of email marketing for your show, for this show? How do you get the word out? I know consistency is the key for you. You've been doing this for a long time, 5 years, at the same time, every single day. That's number one. But what are some other things? How you market your show?
Well, the Streaming Idiots Facebook group is a big part of it. People are being attracted. I don't know how in the world they find it. I don't know. It's a closed group. You can't go in and read it anymore. It was open, but we had a lot of people that were taking advantage of that. And so, I guess we average maybe 5 requests a day for people to join that group. And then, of course, we have folks that have become, have a relationship with Eastern Shore Broadcasting, the kind of the parent company, and are popping into that website and watching us on a regular basis. It really, Jeff, it really has gotten to the point where, you start out and you get a referral and you know where that referral came from. You get a viewer and you know where that viewer came from. And then you get to the second level where somebody had heard it from somebody else who's now watching it. We are so far beyond the second, third, or fourth levels, we don't know where it's all coming from. It's just this snowball that's rolling downhill and gathering more snow as it goes, and it markets itself. I think you're right. Consistency is the key. 3 o'clock Eastern time, I'm here and something's going on. It's probably not going to be good quality stuff, but it's happening every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And you develop a community around that concept where, I look in the chat room and I know the names of all those folks, and I can't wait to meet 2/3 of them in person at the NAB Streaming Idiots meetup. I really do feel like it's community oriented, and that there are different levels, different tiers that community has in terms of their attachment and their engagement. The folks that are in the chat room now are the most engaged people in the community. There's the second level of people that can't watch us live, and so they'll watch tonight or tomorrow or whenever they can. And they wish they could be here, but they're that second level of community. The third level for us is probably the Streaming Idiots group, which is 50% USA based, but 50% non-USA based. And so that's folks that I probably will never ever meet, but I meet them every week. I mean, that's that kind of inconsistency. Frankly, and let's go spiritual. Let's go spiritual for just a second. My belief is that my marketing is handled by a higher power, and so as a result, I don't have to worry about it. That the Holy Spirit will trigger somebody to remember. Hey, doesn't Tom have a show on today at 3? You might want to watch that. And that's where it comes from. It's not me.
That's awesome.
It's not me. And I acknowledge that. I have the best business partner in the whole beyond the world. Yeah. And there's no question about that. No question.
It's a good business partner.
Yeah.
I did want to get your take on this, and I don't want to seem like, you should be interviewing me, but I got a couple questions for you.
Okay. Well, no, hold on. I'm going to be on your show Saturday week at NAB.
Yeah, but I just got this question for you though.
But hold on. Let's set this up. Let's set this up.
Yeah.
So Saturday week at noon. Is it noon Pacific time or noon Eastern time?
Yeah, Pacific. Yeah.
Noon Pacific time. Yep. So that's going to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday week. There's going to be the broadcast beat show from NAB that you're going to be hosting a panel that's going to include me and Paul Richards and Scott Whitney and John from Neural Net. What's John's last name?
Oh, it'll come to me in a minute.
Okay. And so the four of us are going to have a debate. And I've already thrown down the gauntlet with Paul Richards, and I'm going to make him cry like a baby on this show.
You make Paul cry?
I'm going to make him just squirm and cry like a baby. So okay, now we got all that out of the way. Now you can ask your question. We got that groundwork.
Yeah, this is a Facebook Live topic, and I think it's a very hot topic. I had a woman that did the community show with me. That was a private Facebook group, but and what I'm saying with this is where I'm going. I think women with live streaming on Facebook Live do extremely better than men do, and hear me out when I tell you this. It's not from a point guys are gonna go, yeah, because they're beautiful. Yeah. Besides that, they're taking on something that is they're building like these tribes and communities. Like for instance, I had this lady on. She has the website That's Inappropriate. She's like a mom blogger who got into live streaming. She just sits there and people pay her. She's folding clothes, talking about her kids, and they pay her to do this. I had her on one of my shows, and at one time, I had 625 live concurrent viewers at one time on Facebook. I looked at my thing, I'm like, what in the world's going on? And then that show ended up, when it was all said and done, it was like 48,000 views on Facebook on that thing. So women, I had this other lady, and I'm invited her tomorrow on my show on Live Positive, but she has this whole community called the Mermaids. And these ladies just showed up and they tore up this Facebook Be Livers group. And just like, there was like I think it's close to 1,000 comments now. When I looked this morning, it was like 900 comments in there, and they just tore it up. Women are building these huge communities on Facebook Live with Facebook groups, and they know how to do it. Women come out and support each other, especially a lot of women live streamers. There's just like this whole movement happening, and they support each other, and they show up. They just show up, and it's unbelievable.
Well, but we know that's true. You never see a woman in a restaurant go to the bathroom by herself. There's always a community involved.
That's a good outlook.
I mean, that's kind of the basic understanding. They get community. Guys, we're the Lone Rangers. We're the drag ourselves up by our bootstraps with nobody else's help. That's the way we're brought up. Women aren't brought up like that. At least not the
But I think we're doing
life.
ourselves a disservice on our approach because, more than likely all men want to have community. But it's just like driving,
yes. It's
a man never, before we had Google Maps, we never wanted to ask for directions. We'll figure it out. And I think that's all our approach for live streaming. Men have this approach like, I got it all figured out. Just leave me alone. I got it.
Right.
But if actually, I would like to create a movement, on Facebook or wherever that, we support, men are really supporting each other with live streaming. Because I think that's when everybody starts having
guys are not going to go to the bathroom together. It's just not going to happen, Jeff.
Well, it happens. I mean, you look over the urinal. You don't ever look to the left or right when you're peeing with somebody in a urinal. That's rule number one. But maybe with live streaming, hey, we have streams. We're in a urinal. We're looking. Maybe we should have a conversation. I mean, you don't want to put your hand out, but for live streaming, maybe you should put your hand out and say, hey, man,
all right,
how can
folks,
we help each other?
I can't believe this conversation. Oh my gosh. Well, no, I agree. I think, in my experience, that there has been a real absence of the female presence in live streaming until just very recently. And it's just kind of like just been a wave that's just kind of gone whoosh. And there was obviously a need there. And that need is being filled by a lot of folks a lot of women that are having great success in live streaming. And I'm delighted for it. My audience is 97% male.
That's pretty important. When I was doing the Jeff Adams show, my numbers were like that. When I started doing relational type shows, my audience shifted. I have for Live Positive, I have a 88% woman demographic that watches the show based on the topics that I'm talking about. I think it really comes down to the topics too. And I don't know why they look at me, but I'm there. But I try to have attractive people so they can just do the talking and I can just sit back off the camera. But it's a lot of it's relational talk. It's like when you talk about relationships, life matters. Women seem to really gravitate towards that content mostly. And it's a powerful thing. And I was surprised when I started seeing my numbers that way. I was just like, whoa, what is this? Because I like yourself, I had a huge men demographic, and then I've seemed to kind of balanced it out with what I'm doing now, which is very interesting. I don't get a lot of youngsters like I used to because I'm getting older. So I'm losing a lot of the 18 to 28-year-old demographic. I think because it's an age gap thing.
That's my second strongest demographic.
Really?
Really. Surprised me too.
You should be a youth pastor, Tom.
Been there, done that. Loved it. Yeah.
The streaming internet youth pastor.
Yeah. Somehow it just, it's got to be done face to face. That stuff's too important to be done by internet. The important stuff, that's the whole reason. And again, I'm not trying to pump this thing now, but that's the whole reason why I wanted to do this Streaming Idiots meetup, because it's so important to meet up face to face. There's something about meeting people in person, shaking hands, sharing a story, patting somebody on the back. now you've got a real relationship. When we're talking, and you and I have met in person, so there's something there. But for folks that I'm meeting and I'm interviewing just over the internet, there's kind of an internet connection, but there's not that same press the flesh connection, and I think that's so very critical, and
I think that's why you do extremely well, because we had knew of each other. I think we met like 2 years ago at an NAB, and
we did.
I was going through something pretty heavy in my life.
You were,
and you said something to me. You said, "Hey, what's going on?" And you could see that I was heavy, and it just, you just being you showed me a lot of love and compassion that day. And I wanted to say I appreciate that, because, when you think you meet somebody, and you're just a real guy. What you see Tom on the screen is what you see in real life. It's like there's no persona. Tom.
It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, Tom's actually more pleasant in person than he is on live streaming. I would say he just has a warm presence about him, and I really appreciate that, man. When you took time out and you just saw, you could see right through me. I couldn't really hold it very well, but I really appreciate you, man. That was really nice what you said.
Well, it was good to meet you then, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Streaming Idiots thing. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people in the Streaming Idiots. That's going to be a lot of fun and networking and
yes,
and just finding out what people are doing with live streaming.
It's a who's who in live streaming, except a lot of these people haven't been discovered yet. I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Right.
It's just, wow. You talk about people that are knowledgeable. I mean, know the bits and the bytes. I mean, they get it.
Right.
They deal with it either professionally or semi-professionally, or as a professional hobby. And, otherwise they wouldn't spend the money to be at NAB to begin with. But to get them all together in one place at one time, yeah, it's a very powerful event. Very powerful event. Yep. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And I'm looking forward to being on this beatdown show that we're doing. Oh no, that's called Broadcast Beat. That's what it was, not Beatdown.
Well, it's produced by Broadcast Beat, and they signed a long-term deal to produce NAB Live, which is really, really cool. And
Good
Ryan, who runs Broadcast Beat, there's Broadcast Beat has a crew of this year 90-something people that are involved with NAB Live. I mean, you're talking about they hit every booth for interviews. I mean, they're just everywhere. And now they have a new podcast, a live radio feed that's going out as well. That's going to be next to the set as well. So they have radio going out. And I think one year's numbers, they hit 1.2 million live viewers through NAB with all the streams they did that 4 days that they were streaming. That was pretty impressive numbers there that they hit that. And that's how many people that can't afford to go to NAB are watching the streams, I guess.
Right. Or for some reason can't go that particular time. Yeah. I've had a lot of folks, what was it? Somebody's getting married. Can't mess with that. Nope.
It's so important, because I was stressing, I invited this guy to be a guest, and but I respected his decision because it was a family matter of his daughter was in a softball tournament. But I told him his whole thing, he's a live streaming video expert, and he teaches. And I said, have you ever been to NAB before? And I said, because I wanted to invite him on the video, the panel that we were doing. And he wanted to do it, but he's like, I got family commitments, I can't do it. I said, I said, listen, you have to go next year, because your relationships that you're going to build are going to take your business, to a whole nother level. When I started doing the NAB Live, I mean, I could not believe the opportunity that, or just going a couple years ago, 6 years ago, I produced for Kelby Media Group, out of Florida here. And we did a lot of interviews, just that alone. And then emailing people and just building relationships with people in the industry. It's a game changer. It is the place to be if you're a live streamer or broadcasting, radio, whatever you do. That is the place to be. I mean, if you can't grow your business just by going out, it's worth the investment. You got to pay out of your pocket. You need to go. You got to go, because you just meet so many incredible people.
I agree. My first time,
I should be selling tickets right now.
You should. The first time I went was the time you and I met. and I went out for I think 2.5 days, and I went back and forth between the vMix booth and the PTZ Optics booth probably most of
Yeah.
the time, and I think I made one circuit through the whole show, and then I get an email from Martin Sinclair, the developer of vMix, saying, "Hey, you want to come work for us at vMix next year? You were there so much anyway. We may as well
Right.
just pay you to come be there the whole time." And those are the kind of opportunities that you get when you're physically present.
Right.
And the what do they call it? The Worldwide Wrestling Foundation, I think is
Yeah.
going to be. They're one of the sponsors of your Saturday broadcast, because there's going to be a beatdown on Paul Richards in that debate. John
What's his
Mahoney,
beef?
that's his name, John
What is
Mahoney.
Yeah, John Mahoney. Yeah, he gave me
Yeah.
in the studio. I have the neural net. It's a calling system, NDI
Yes.
calling system that he's been working
Like
on.
the
I've
Quick
been,
Link, yeah, or the talk show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually got it in here right now. We're gonna do a run through, and we're gonna use it on one of the shows. But yeah, it's really cool. This is a really cool setup. But hey, back to, why do you have such a beef with Paul over there?
Oh,
Why-
I don't. It's a bro thing.
You're gonna beat him down? Is that? I'm gonna have to beat you guys up? Or what?
I'm gonna beat him. No. We're just throwing a little hype in there. A little. People are going. Are they really gonna be a beatdown? Can an old man like Tom stand his ground against a 20-something like Paul Richards? You got to watch
Paul's
and find
20-something?
out. Isn't he? He only graduated
I don't
from
know.
college like last year or something. I don't know.
Really?
He's young. No,
I didn't know he was that young. I thought he was like 30s.
He's got two
right?
kids. Just had his second one last year. I'd
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
late 20s. Yeah, you can go on the website and find out when he graduated from college and backtrack it from there. Monrovia College, I
Yeah,
think.
that's when I start to feel old. Start reading people's ages.
No, man, I tell you what, there's nothing cooler than being in your 60s. I'll tell you that right now. You've got something to look forward to. It
Live
is
streaming
so,
in your 60s, folks.
just being alive in your 60s. I mean, it's great. Number one, when you're people like you and I, because we both have baby faces, nobody knows that I'm really 73. Everybody thinks that I'm really in my 60s, like I say I am. Nobody
You're not
knows
73.
that.
You're not-
Nobody
are
really
you-
knows that you're 62
Are
instead
you
of the
73? There's
no,
no way
of
you're
course
73.
not. No,
I was about
no.
to say.
But
Like, wow.
but 60 is. I mean, Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was in his 80s when
Yeah.
he made the big push for Kentucky Fried Chicken. There is no limit age-wise to doing
Right.
stuff. So if you think, I don't know enough about it, I'm too old to learn, I'm too old to get into this, that's a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Some
It's
of
excuses.
my sharpest clients are in their 80s, and they're doing their church live stream, and they're using vMix and PCs that we developed for them, and PTZ Optics cameras and X keys, and they're kicking it. And
That's awesome.
It is. So age is no barrier, and I can't wait
Yeah,
till I'm in my 70s. Yep.
Really? You're already pushing to go in your 70s, huh?
Well, I'll be 63 this year, so I'm
Wow.
a third of the way there. Yeah.
I
Or-
can't. Time flies. I'm going to be 46 in October, and
Holy
I just
cow.
can't. I can't even believe it.
And
It's
see,
just
I
like,
thought you
wow.
were barely out of your 30s. I would have said
Oh, man.
39,
Great.
41.
This is 10 years worth of live streaming right here.
I thought that was just spray on. Yeah,
No.
you just comb that in every morning so that you
And my
look.
built-in yarmulke. You see my built-in yarmulke I got?
Yeah, I don't have one of those. I'm just losing ground. Yeah. Well, I think we've degenerated into who looks the oldest, so we better call this one quits. But
Yeah.
Jeff,
Thanks for having me today.
oh man, it was great. I really appreciate you taking the time. And for folks that are wondering, NAB is going to be on their website showing off a lot of the live streams, and that's probably how you can get the broadcast beat live stream for Saturday week. But we'll also post that stuff in the Streaming Idiots group and on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting Facebook group, and we'll talk about it next week when we have. Oh, we are doing a co-show next week with Paul Richards and Tess Protesto at PTZ Optics.
Oh,
So
nice.
their show comes on right before this one, and so they're going to send me a feed, and I'm going to broadcast their show, and then when my show comes on, I'll send them a feed, and they'll broadcast my show, and they'll be guests on my show, and I think I'm going to be a guest on their show. So it's going to be
sweet.
a great way to kind of intermingle, trade audiences, expand both of our visions. Let me leave you with this one last thought. And I know I'm the host and I'm not supposed to leave anybody with thoughts, but I'm going to leave it with you anyway. So many times in business, there's competition. And it's like, I want to get a bigger slice of the pie. I want to take somebody else's slice of the pie. We are in an industry right now where we can grow the pie. So even if I only have 2% of 100, if 100 becomes 1,000 and I've got 2% of 1,000, I've magnified by 10. I don't need to go get somebody else's percentage. I need to help somebody else grow the pie. So I want to work with anybody and everybody I can to grow the pie. Let's make
That's
live
good.
streaming big, 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 and then we will all be hugely successful as a result. Yeah, that's
I
my
agree.
closing thought. Do you have a closing thought?
My closing thought is, man, you love live streaming, continue to do it. Everybody's at different places on live streaming. You're not going to figure it out one day, but just keep that dream alive. You've got a dream. You're starting off Cam Twist or whatever you're using. You'll get there. It just takes time and resources. But if you believe in your dream, things will happen. I'm telling you, I promise you. When you do this, you step out and you do it, good things will happen when you really step out and believe in yourself and your dream that's inside you. It's just been an amazing ride, and I'm just really, really humbled and grateful that I did it 5 years ago, and I'm still here. I'm not starving, and I get to meet a lot of great people like yourself that are doing live streaming shows and working for a lot of great people. So I'm very, very thankful.
There's the word. There's the word. Very good. Jeff, thanks so much. Man, it's great. And I look forward to seeing you in a week and a half.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Yes. And I get to wear makeup. This is so great. I've never worn makeup before. I'm excited. Jeff sent me an email, said, yeah, you got to get there 5 minutes early for the makeup. And I'm thinking, well, there's not much they can do at 5 minutes to this face, but yeah, let's see. It'll be fun.
It'll be a blast.
All right. All right, folks. So happy to have Jeff on the show today. And isn't he a blast? He's great. And he might stay on for another minute and answer some questions in chat in the post show. So thanks so much for tuning. Sorry we went over time, but we will catch you next week when we have the co-show with Paul and Tess from PTZ Optics. We'll see you then. What a show. I'm going to be like PTZ Optics and talk like after the show. But I think Jeff's gone. Yeah, he left us. And we're done. And we're done. Let's go to the post show. Very good. All right. So Jeff has left the building. Jeff Adams has left the building. I should have mentioned to him earlier on that it was a good idea for him to hang around for a few minutes, but that's okay. That's the way it goes. So, did I miss anything in the chat? I'm sorry I wasn't paying much attention to you guys. Gee whiz, you would think somebody like me would pay more attention to somebody like you. All right, Ken is 68 and having a blast. I love it. There you go. Next Saturday is April 7th. That's right. And it's 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific time. And I'll make sure that we have the right kind of info on there. Ted is 63 skidoo. Steve Brown, 72 yesterday and still live streaming. Woo! I love it. Kentucky Fried Streaming with Colonel Tom. yeah, that's right. Oh, Rick says, ouch, I'll also be 63 this year. He thought I was 10 years younger than him. I'm not sure how that compliment goes, Rick, but nevertheless, thanks for tuning in. Oh my goodness. Amnon is going to be 70 in June. Holy cow, I would not have predicted that. Wow. Anderson's 64. Now, I know that's not true, but if I lived in Barbados, I'd look as good as he does too. So that would be a part of it. So everybody's comparing ages here. Goodness gracious. Jim Lean says, great show, guys. Gotta run. So I guess Jim's gone, but thanks for hanging around when you did, Jim. Daniel has an off-topic question. Do you know what voltage PoE the camera, PTZ Optics cameras are using? Been trying to find a reasonably priced PoE gigabit switch. I know the switch I've got does 48 volts, and it is 4 cams, so that would be 12 volts per cam, but it should be in the manual. And I think it's in the PTZ Optics knowledge base too. That seems to me where I found it when I was looking for it. John says, I see you got your chroma key hair fixed. Actually, I did my hair differently. I didn't spike it. There's one little spot right in there that is just resisting. Yeah, oh well. 12 volts, says Andrew S. Thank you very much. Standard PoE is 48 volts, says John Thompson. Thank you, S. Rick says 48 volts is standard. Well, there's the question. There's the answer. It's an industry standard. Mike says, curious where you heard that maybe additional audio buses might be added to vMix in the not-too-distant future. I think, number one, Mike, anything you hear on this show, I probably made up. So we would say that it probably doesn't have a good, let's get me back in the center there. There we go. It doesn't, that's the beauty of a PTZ camera. You know, I don't have to go out and adjust. I can just pull up my remote control and just go bang, and here it is. We're head on. Number one, Mike, I made that up for sure. Number two, I know that has been requested in the vMix feature request section of their forums. And if you're interested in it, I would suggest going to forums, plural, .vmix.com and going into the feature request section and finding that and giving it a +1, because that's how vMix determines what they're going to do with new features in the future as they pay attention. All right, John Thompson, when is Tom going to do the pan tilt zoom dance? Maybe on the co-show with PTZ Optics. Wouldn't that be appropriate? Oh, vMix did. Let's see. Amnon says, Rick, since I'm an ISP in my real life, I can get all the analytics from my web server logs after the fact. I got you. Okay, that's a conversation not for me. Oh, hey, Tom, this is Cliff. How are you guys connecting in NAB, and what will be your bit rate? Well, the only connection at NAB that I will be doing, where we'll be doing the Streaming Idiot show, will be from the PTZ Optics booth on Wednesday, April 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time. And we'll be using whatever they've got at as high a bit rate as we can possibly go. I'd like to do my typical 1080p stream at YouTube and 720p stream at Facebook, but we'll just have to see what kind of bandwidth they have there at NAB. I mean, everybody at NAB is doing broadcast stuff. Everybody wants internet. Everybody wants the fastest internet, and everybody wants nobody else on their internet. So I can't imagine the connection that goes into the Las Vegas Convention Center. And it's frightfully expensive. I mean, you know, I don't know, is it $100 a minute or $100 an hour or some crazy number like that? Wow. So we will see. We will see. Now, I would imagine on the Beatdown show on Saturday week, since it's an NAB-sponsored event produced by Broadcast Beat, that they'll probably have a very healthy connection, and they'll be streaming everything at 1080p. Anderson says, Tom, did you see the new resizable control surface? I tried it, works nice, but it's still in beta. That's the Android version, isn't it? I saw that out there. I've got to try it. There's some things that need to be fixed and features to add it. I'm so delighted to hear that. I can't wait to try it. Guest 238, that would be Cliff, said, I can only imagine the bandwidth is limited there. Yes, yes, limited by your pocketbook. You know, how fast do you want to go? Otis says, Tom, what panels are you doing at NAB? It is actually, excuse me, it's not a part of the NAB conference. They would they wouldn't have the likes of me at that conference, but it will be a kind of a pre NAB show produced by a company called Broadcast Beat. I think they're out of Miami. And they have invited me and Paul Richards at PTZ Optics and John Mahoney at NeuralNet and Scott Whitney from Las Vegas Live, who is also the owner of Podwork Studio, where our Streaming Idiots meetup is going to be. They've invited the four of us and Jeff Adams as the host to come have a, Jeff said it was a debate, but I think it's really going to be more of a discussion about live streaming. And so my guess is they'll drill down the topic between now and then. But we'll be doing that Saturday week, April 7th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we'll make sure that there'll be all sorts of links posted in the Facebook group and the website and all that stuff so you can watch. I mean, you know, I want as many of you guys there cheering for me. No, I'm just teasing. Dave Edwards is asking for a Linksun on that controller, Anderson. A Linksun. Looking back over the end here, and there is a Linksun. And that was on the forum post. Chicks, Jeff, I'm reading back. It says, Ted says, why pick on Paul? Well, number one, he's just so pickable, and he has a good sense of humor, and he'll understand that this is all in good fun. And you know, it's just like, you know, when the heavyweight champions kind of meet up, and they, you know, this is a week or two before the event and at the weigh-in, and they, you know, go back and forth with each other a little bit. But they don't really do anything because the fight's a week later. Well, this is just the hype to get you guys to watch. That's what it is. It's just hype to get you to watch. So if you'll just watch, I won't have to do the hype. Or maybe. We'll see. Let's see. Kent was asking, Jeff, can you give any information on your platform? And it scrolled up again. Let's see if I can find it. On the faith-based content, we are a faith-based network, and we're always looking for a platform to spread the faith. Kent, if Kent is still here, I don't see him on the list, but I could be overlooking him. Kent, I think Jeff is under an NDA until June or July when the thing comes out. But we'll make sure, well, what we'll do is we'll probably get Jeff back on the show when it comes out so he can talk about it, because he'll have a good background on what's going on with that. And I'm very interested in it too, because I think it might end up being a great way for churches to get involved. I mean, let's say if it's a Facebook type organization and they have an agreement with CCLI or other music licensing companies, all our copyright issues as faith-based organizations, all those copyright issues go away. I mean, can you believe that? Would that be just awesome? So everybody, you know, that's streaming to Facebook now or to YouTube now and getting dinged every so often, will probably make that a place to be. At least I would. Let's see. Can't find the link. There's a link. Otis says, I will be there in person on the 9th, so you won't have... I will be there in person on the 9th, so you won't have any help with Paul. I think I'm missing something on that one. The 9th is Monday, the opening day of NAB. I need help with Paul on the 7th because he's a young kid. He's going to beat my butt. Oh, my goodness. Ken says, Tom, any update on your new warehouse workshop space? Oh, actually, yes. Thank you. The folks that had rented it before me and were moving out were building a building of their own. And apparently that's taking a little longer than necessary. And so they called me and they said, would you mind if we stayed another month? That was 2 months ago. And then again, a month ago, they said, oh, how about another month? And I don't have a pressing need at this point. I just thought it was time. So I want to give them, an opportunity to make a gracious exit because I don't have a deadline. So that's the update, is that there's no update. Hopefully in April. Hopefully in April. Of course, I'm going to be gone most of the month. I'll be gone a week to Las Vegas for NAB, and then 5 days after that, Sandy and I are going to visit our son, who is in Thailand teaching English. Actually, he's got summer vacation now, and so he's going to take us around the country. So I'll be out of pocket for another couple of weeks after that. Anderson said it works similar to UTC, but it has a user buildable GUI. You can create the buttons you want and place them wherever you want. Works great. Even give the buttons different colors. Aha. Very good. Very good. That sounds promising. Daniel says, we have our CCLL license on all our YouTube streams, and we've gotten hit a couple times by copyright claims. Yep, that's the deal. And, anybody can say, oh, I've got the rights to, this 5-note, this 5-note riff, and you can't use it. Or I've got the note to this one line in a song, even though it's in a different song that it is differently. We don't want you to use it. I mean, anybody can say anything anytime they want to about copyrights. Just like here in the States, anybody can sue anybody anytime they want to for any reason. It doesn't have to be a good reason. It doesn't mean they're going to win, but they can raise the issue. And that's what a lot of these copyright claims are, I think, is somebody just either, number one, looking for a payoff, or number two, it's an algorithm that flags because it's something similar. Theirs is something similar to what yours is. From my perspective, when I do my church streaming, we get hit about every Sunday for copyright from YouTube. And what YouTube says is, hey, you cannot monetize this content because it belongs to somebody else. I was like, oh, man, I was going to monetize that church service and that sermon. So that's the real world. That's the real world. But if there's another organization that is able to, kind of step and fill the gap there and say, we're going to get a license, you're going to have to pay something or, do something so that you've got the ability to do that, and we will fight the claims. In fact, we'll just simply send them a copy of the license, say, hey, we've got a right to use it because here's the license. Same thing that you have to do when you have to fight your claim. You have to send them a copy of your license to say that you've got the rights to do that. Yep. And, copyrights are good things. Copyrights, musicians, folks that create this stuff, they deserve to be paid. They deserve to be protected. They don't deserve to have their stuff ripped off. But if you have a license to use it, then you have a license to use it. And, we've got a license at our church. I just don't care to fight it every time. I'll just say, okay, don't monetize my stream. Oh, golly gee. What will I do if you don't monetize my stream? I'll have to live without those 3 cents that we might have gotten forever. But for them, 3 cents a million times could be, $300,000 or whatever the number is. I guess $30,000. Anyway, that's what 3 cents would be a million times. Oh, let's see. What else can we talk about? Wasn't Jeff fun? Jeff's such a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's a deep guy. He's got 3 kids, and he's a great dad. Yeah. Daniel says we have to go in and find the CCI license for each song that gets claimed if we want to fight them. Huh. Amnon says, I have to file a dispute every Sunday for the same music which I have a license for. Yep, yep. That is the way it happens. But I remember when I first started out, that VidBlaster guy, and we had that cool theme song and got dinged the very first time we used it. And I, cut and pasted the purchase of the rights to that theme song and sent them to, who was it? I guess maybe Ustream, or it could have been YouTube. I don't remember way back then. And that was the end of it. Never heard it again. And the theme song to this show, haven't gotten dinged on that ever. Well, maybe we did. Again, it's been 4 years, so don't remember. Don't remember. Okay, let me give a shout out to Steve, Martin, Crux Works, Jerome, Amnon, Kenny, Otis, Giles, Ken, Nick, Dave, David, Daniel, Tommy, John, Anderson, Andrew, Rich, and Cliff. I love it. Amnon says, I cut and paste the license every Sunday. If that's what it takes, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Could be worse. Could be worse. All right, folks. Well, I have got to talk to a man about a dog. No, just teasing. I have to go back to work. Anderson said, do you know I heard that theme on a network and thought you'd gone network? Yeah. I think at one point Motorola had picked up that theme too. Martin says, great news for live streamers in Switzerland. New provider brings 1010 gigabyte bits for $50, including TV and free phone. No way. Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. And Giles says, great show. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Giles. Rich says, hey, Tom, busy season for me coming up. Will you be coming by to Panama City or Pensacola in May? May, depending on when. I get back from Thailand the first week in May, or the end of the first week in May. Jerome says, should we live stream to YouTube for churches? Sure. What we do, Jerome, is we live stream to Facebook live, and then we upload higher quality to YouTube for the long-term viewing. But what I found was YouTube may be great for searching for information on something. YouTube may be great in that it re-encodes your stream to multiple bit rates, but YouTube is not a great way to promote your broadcast. It just doesn't have the reach that Facebook has, for example. Facebook has the ability to reach all the people that like your page, and if you want to promote it, it can go to their friends or any demographic group you want to. So we use Facebook for the live stream, and we promote it as such, and then have the YouTube as the backup. Yep. Daniel says, we stream to Facebook for one service and YouTube for the second. Not a problem. Just ignore the claims. Don't monetize anyway. There you go. Steve Brown says he has a CCLI license and streams only to his church's website and has never had a license problem. That's because you are saying to the whole world, I'm a little fish. But if you go on YouTube or Facebook where everybody could see it, that's where the copyright trolls, that's where they're fishing. And they're looking to hook a big fish there, and they'll hook a little fish like you or me, pull us out, send us a note, and then throw us back. They're not interested in us, really, because we don't have any money. They're looking for money. That's what it is. Money, honey. That's my thought, anyway. Daniel says, the only reason we stream to YouTube is for those that don't have Facebook, like nursing homes, etc. Well, of course, Daniel, if that's the reason, then stream to both of them simultaneously and let the nursing homes, etc. pick which service they want to put on the big screen TV in the fellowship room. Yeah, you can do that. Anderson said, we'll be interested to see how Facebook goes with their recent privacy issues. A lot of viewers leaving the platform. What are the implications for your org if you solely rely on Facebook for your community? Well, you're going to be screwed. That's what's going to happen if you solely rely on Facebook for your community. There are lots of folks that have built up. Yeah, I had a ladder collapse and I've had a fall over the weekend. If YouTube is your only outlet, but every church should have a website. Every church should have a YouTube account. Every church should have a Facebook account. You should be able to stream wherever you want to. You might even have a private label account that you stream to your website. If all else fails, you have your website. That's my thought. Amnon says, does that mean I am a big fish in your book, Tom? Amnon, you are the grand poobah of big fishes. Andrew says, expect governments around the world to take a closer look at Facebook's business practices. Yeah. Yeah. And Facebook may not exist in the form we know it in 5 years. For example, the social media site that Jeff was talking about earlier may be the go-to site for churches in 2 years. You just never know. If I had Facebook stock right now, I might watch the market, and the next time it peaks, I might trade it off. Yep. All right, folks. Pleasure being with you. Look forward to seeing some of you in Las Vegas, and we'll be back next week. Daniel says, we don't have the bandwidth to stream both at once. Both services are the same. Just do it twice a day to fit everyone's schedule. Well, there you go. Thank you for the comment. All right, we're going to let the stream run out so we don't cut you off, but we will catch you later. Thank you, Anderson. Counting on you.